goes. Okay. Guys, we are now on chapter 9 of Into the Wild from the Prophecy Begins series. Um, do you have something to say to defend yourself right now?
I, I do. She's very cute. Her name is Kiko, and she's gonna stand in my place.
She's your replacement?
Yep,
So she's gonna have more notes than you normally do, right?
probably.
Okay. And then
She's a
as
cat of many words.
I could tell, it's a very thoughtful face as she's reaching for a string of some sort.
Cheese.
Oh, cheese. Okay. Yes, that is the cheese face. Ooh, great warrior name, cheese face. Yeah. As for me, for those of you who watched last week's video, you'll know that my audio or my internet just decided to crap out on me. So I decided to sit in the guest room. The router is right behind me, so if it doesn't work in here, then it's not gonna ever work. But I don't know if you could tell, I did make a backdrop. So we have it goes I'll bring them closer. We have Grey Paw up top, and then Fire Paw and Raven Paw. But yeah, at some point I'll show you guys that maybe for next video. You gotta chime in next video to see them up close. This was a pretty good chapter. I do love Greypaw at the beginning when Firepaw has to go check out Yellowfang, see if she's okay, because he was just put on the punishment of okay, you have to take care of this old bone bag, and he's like, "Hey, you'll need the whole of Starclan on your side for this one," answered Greypaw. "Call out if you need a hand. If she looks like she's gonna have you, I'll sneak up behind her and whack her on the head with a stiff rabbit." Like, Greypaw's a hero. He's the friend we all need. Like, he
I
started out as such a good dude. I don't know what happens to him, and then he falls in love. He goes through puberty, and it ruins him.
that's literally like I feel like most of the stories that you read, like, and then they fell in love, and then everything went downhill.
Yup.
So I found a typo or a misprint or something
Oh.
in literally the first sentence, second sentence. Um so it says long tail straight away period. She's doesn't
Oh,
look very.
it is. Yeah, she apostrophe S doesn't look very happy. I didn't notice that.
I
Our
would have
first
like
typo.
skipped over it,
Yeah.
except it's two apostrophes and that just bothered me.
She is does not look very happy. I'm guessing it was probably original like she's
She's not very happy or
yeah,
something like
she's not
that.
looking very happy or something. Yeah. Because
And
even
then it
like
just
she
never got.
isn't looking very happy would have worked kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. That's awesome. I did not notice that.
I also
Um,
felt like that like what third line, well, here goes, he meowed, it
yeah, maybe
like
that's another
then it might be like a
like English
English thing.
yeah. So it's like we'd be like here goes nothing
Like,
kind of
here
thing.
I go, or yeah.
True. I just realized where
Yeah,
I'm
here goes
sitting
nothing.
is
Yeah.
directly below the vent. I'm like, I just got shot by icy cold air.
I am so sorry that's
Oh, I
terrible.
love it. It's great. Um, and then as she's already snapping at him, like, stop right there, kitty pet, because she now knows he is a kitty pet, so she keeps picking at him for it. And he's like, the last thing he wanted was to argue with this pitiful clump of fur and teeth. Like, we can make a list of all the things they use to describe how, like, bad looking Yellow Fang is. It's kind of sad. And then she's like, "You're a kitty pet, though." Or, like she's super fixated on the fact that he was a kitty pet, and it's like I don't understand why she hates it so much. Because again, I think we mentioned this last week between the glitches, but her mate's father is a kitty pet, so Ragged Star was part kitty pet kind of thing, and she's still like hating on Fireball for it. which like seems judgmental.
I mean, maybe she just does it to try and get under his skin.
I guess it just seems like she would have a little bit more patience. And then she's like, "Your mother's a kitty pet, your father a kitty pet," which maybe I'm wrong. I don't know too much about Jake, but I thought he was a loner. I didn't think he was a kitty pet, or at least not full time kitty pet. Like I thought he was just also lives on his own a whole bunch, but I don't know. I had to do more research on Jake. I for some reason was thinking he was a loner, and I believe his mom's name is Nutmeg as a kitty pet.
Maybe they're kind of like barn cats or something, you know?
Yeah, I just know he wanders quite a bit. Like he hangs out with the Wind Clan. It's him and Tallstar are friends. I think he hung. I haven't read enough of the super editions to know too much about Jake. Hmm.
I don't
But
know.
then we get the first rendition of who I will lovingly name Sassy Paws now. With Firepaw's patience ran out, and he's like, "You'd still feel humiliated if I were warrior born. You'd feel ashamed whether I was a precious she-cat from your own clan or a wretched two-leg came to pick you up off the ground. It's the fact that you need to rely on any cat that you find so humiliating. You're just gonna have to get used to being cared for until you're well enough to look after yourself, you spiteful old bone bag." Right? Like, I wish Firepaw kept this kind of like sassiness because it's amazing. Like, just imagine, like, like an old person just sitting there, like, picking at you, like, for you color your hair and you got tattoos and blah blah. They're just picking at you. You just launch into them. But oh, it made me laugh.
I want that on a shirt. You spiteful old bone bag.
Yes.
Just like that's the best line in the entire series, hands down.
I don't know. I think with just the series or all of them.
Just this one.
Okay, I was gonna say Jay Feather and Alderheart. I read you the quote earlier, but I think that might be my new all-time favorite one.
I mean, that one, yeah, the fact that even I laughed, and I'm not a Jay Feather fan,
Oh,
so
big. For those of you who have read Vision of Shadows, when shoot, what was his name? Fuzzy. What did I say his name was?
was it Fuzzy Nose or something
It's
like
not
that?
a it's Fuzzy. Oh my gosh, what's his name? It's not a warrior name. He's a kitty pet.
Oh, I don't remember.
Shoot. Well, when I think of it again, but when the kitty pet, him and Velvet joined the clan temporarily, and he's put in charge of watching um Jay Feather while he's sick, and he's just like, "Oh, do you need this? Do you need this? Do you want this? Do you blah blah blah?" And then, "Do you need a belly rub?" And Jay Feather just turns to Alderheart and is, "When I get better, I'm going to kill you." Like, oh, I love it. It's so good.
I really don't blame him though. I'd have said the exact same thing if I were in that position. Like that was like the most annoying like paragraph I
Fuzzball.
think I've read to date.
Sorry, I was
Oh, that's
listening, but
right.
fuzzball before I forgot it. Yes, but it is great. It just he's such a freaking spaz. Him and Smudgeshar, like they would be best friends.
Are you blind? What's it like being blind? How did it happen?
They're fighting a
Was
badger?
it in a fight with a badger? Or a dog? Did the dog die? Is your belly hurting? How bad? Would you like me to rub it?
Not even exaggerating. That's literally how it goes. Fuzzball. He's great. If
Should
Smudgestar
name
was the
Spaz.
president of this arc, Fuzzball Star is the leader of that one. It's not Fuzzstar, it's Fuzzball Star. Where was I? Yeah, I have spiteful old bone bag written down, and then we'll do the herb breakdown at the end because we finally do have actual herbs mentioned, not cobweb, not mouse bile, like legit herbs. But the three that we're gonna do breakdown because they're the three that Yellowfang asks for are goldenrod, poppy seeds, and marigold. I also love the detail that Yellowfang laughing comes out as a harsh wheezing sound that with her eyes slitted and she's shaking all over and he thinks she's having a fit and it's just her laughing.
Look, I didn't mean. Oh no, she's just laughing.
Wow, 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 wow. She mewed up her rumbling from deep inside her chest, but yeah, she's just like wheezing, and he's just like, "What the hell is wrong with her?" And yep, she's laughing, and so
I
yeah,
do
you got spirit,
appreciate that
kitty
you got
pet.
spirit.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, she starts to respect him for that because he stands up for himself. So good for him. He earned the old bone bag's respect. Um, and then he goes and is asking Yellow or Spotted Leaf for like the herbs that Yellowfang wants, and he goes in there, he reeled off Yellowfang's list of herbs and seeds when really it was one herb and one seed, but okay. And she's like, I got most of those in my den. It's two things. What do you mean most of them? And then she gives it to him and Marigold. But like this is literally their second conversation ever. It's her shooing him away from bugging Ravenpaw when he first got there and then just doing her job. Like I saw a video, a theory about how Spotted Leaf and Firestar's romance is forced later on. And so far I'm kind of agreeing with it because I really don't think it just seems professional here. Like we'll see. Just keep that in the back of your mind though that they kind of forced their romance. It's not a um Pluto not it's not how do I word this? It's not something that is necessarily there. It's just something that everyone believes is now canon because of how it is later.
Yeah.
Because like we're from Firepaw's point of view, he has a big crush on her. He gets nervous around her. He's shy. She's just like, hey, go away. I'm taking care of this apprentice, and here are the herbs you asked for. So far, that's all we have.
Well, and that's like, yeah, everything about it. Like, I definitely, like going back and rereading now as an adult. It just everything seems very inky. I guess like it's just not like something. How would I like something doesn't sniff right?
Exactly.
It just smells bad.
Smells like the dirt place over here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, every time they interact, I'm gonna point it out because, like, yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, we hear about how Firepaw is just like head over tail in love with her kind of thing, but we never see her until later on where she confesses she was in love with him. We never see her acting the same way back to him. She just seems to be friendly or doing her job.
Mm, I know we'll get there eventually, but I think a lot of that was her like trying to just be professional.
Yeah, so I thought I heard someone at the door. Um, yeah, I feel like she's just always being professional. I don't think it's really romantic from her point of views, but I don't know. Well,
No.
maybe it does later. And then 3 days have gone by, so we have another little time jump there. Unlike the 2 years that goes by later on, when we get to Vision of Shadows, I'm gonna complain about every single chapter. Yeah, so they're about to. It does say. Did I pass it? That Greenleaf was drawing to a close, and soon it would start to feel colder. So it's almost leaf fall, so it is getting a little bit colder. Things get interesting when it's cold; they always do.
Well,
Uh,
and,
yeah,
pretty shortages and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
and then of course it's just cold. Like, who loves the
yeah.
cold?
There's just a whole bunch of
God.
sickness and snow,
Well,
cold.
actually, come to think of it, I can think of one person who's currently present who actually likes the cold and the snow.
Me!
Mm-hmm.
I love the cold. I love the snow.
Something
Everything
wrong
about
with
it.
you.
The smell of it is just so crisp.
Yeah, I'd like to move to some place like Arizona where it's like continuously just like warm.
Oh
And like when it
no.
is cold, it's not that cold.
Are you one of those people who like your room to be warm?
I didn't say I like my room to be warm. Like if I'm trying to go to sleep, like I better have like a fan on and some more stuff like that. But
So my logic is if you're hot or if you're cold, you could put on a sweater or socks or whatever. You can bundle up, put on a blanket. If you're cold or hot, you can only strip down so much before it's illegal in public. So like it's true though. Like I
put it
mean,
that
if
way.
yeah, I don't know. I like to like when I'm sleeping, I want to have like a mountain of blankets on me. It's cozy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I lived up north for quite a while and in the middle of winter I was going outside in like what, like -5, -10 degrees in like my UGG slippers, which were open toe, and then, shorts and a tank top to go check my mail. So
Hell yeah. Like every time I go over to my boyfriend's house, he now has like he has added 4 fans to his room to like blow kind of thing. So I'm like, it's too hot in here. It's like we need more fans. So there's like 4 of them that have been added since we started dating because I was like, nah, it's too hot. It needs to be colder.
I'm just gonna buy you a chillo for your birthday.
Yes, all of it. I need like the thing you put on the bed that keeps you cold and all of that. Yep,
Why don't you just get one of the blowers that you like hook up underneath the blanket or whatever?
maybe, maybe.
Exactly. You
But
might find one on your doorstep.
yes. And then we have I love this comment from Sandpaw. She's like, perhaps she thinks a kitty pet is better off staying in camp tending to the sick. It's like a medicine cat? Are you saying that kitty pets make better medicine cats? Because like there's nothing wrong with staying in camp and looking after the sick. That's what a medicine cat does, and like Sandpaw's treating it like it's a bad thing.
Or like he's not, good enough to be a warrior, but I don't know. I think I think at some point I mentioned something earlier today about medicine cats that kind of went along with that type of comment.
Maybe. I don't
I'm
remember.
trying to remember what it was.
You
It
talked
was
about
in a great
cinder
debate
pelt.
with you. Yeah, I think that actually was what it was. Like, yeah, it actually, yeah. Anyways, I don't disagree with you. I think that being a medicine cat, that's like a very important role, and I think Sandpaw just really needs to be quiet.
Yeah. Her and Dustball
I
are
just
just
don't like
menaces
Sandpaw.
until Fireheart saves her, and Fire and Ice, then she starts to become better. She still has like an attitude kind of thing, but she's better. She's tolerable. So then,
I don't think
oh,
I ever find her tolerable.
well, we'll get there. You're only on like what, book 2? You got like 3 more series with her,
No.
and a lot of super editions. Up
Hmm.
until that point though, did you have anything I've missed?
I actually did. I wanted to go
Oh,
over, it wasn't something you missed necessarily, and we could like have saved it for when you go over the herbs, but I just want to go over what a poultice is because I feel like a lot of people like when I was first reading through it, I was like, oh, like it must just be something that you like mash up and like, it's like Neosporin basically or something like that.
yeah.
And like, yes and no. A poultice is a soft, moist dressing. So dressings generally being something that's a little more substantial than just, like a glob of neosporin, um, that are applied to the skin to provide relief from pain, inflammation, or infection. It's usually made of a mixture of herbs, medicinal plants, and other ingredients such as clay, oatmeal, or baking soda. Those would help it to harden and callus over on the skin and then stay.
Yes. So I do know that they mention the difference between the or not necessarily they don't mention it, but it's very subtly hinted at because later on they'll be like either chewed up into a poultice or chewed up into a pulp kind of thing. So they will say the difference between the two, whereas like, less chewed on kind of thing to put onto the wound to protect it versus chewing into a pulp is something you're trying to get like stick get into the wound kind of thing. So they do have a little bit of a thing there. So I actually have the difference between them later on. But that is a difference that they will say it's something that needs to be put into the wound or on top of the wound and then covered in cobwebs. So I do like the the amount of thought they put into it.
That definitely, like, the amount of accuracy in the herbalism within the series is something that actually like got me into herbalism originally.
Yeah, that's what hurt. I mean, you're definitely more into it than I am, but that I love it. I always found it really interesting. Be like, okay, this does this does that. Yeah.
I remember getting so excited when I went to an herb shop one day. They sell a lot of herbs for medicinal teas and stuff, and I found feverfew there. And the lady asked me if I knew what it did, and I was like, "Actually, yes, I do." And I told her basically like from the series what it does, and she's like, "Oh, like that's actually accurate." And I was like, "Yeah,
We'll have to
I
look
know."
into this at some point because I know to begin with, they use feverfew a ton for fevers. Later on, they never use it anymore. It's just borage. They use borage for it, kind of thing. So I'm just wondering, like, when they stopped and if we could figure out, like, maybe one grows better in the old forest than it does by the lake. But yeah, I don't think I've seen the word feverfew in ages, but I see borage a ton for cats who have a fever. Um,
Huh.
but then we get to, he's taking care of Yellowfang again. And for some reason, this used to throw me off. When she says the base of my tail itches like fury, but I can't reach it, give it a wash, will you? For the longest time, for some reason, I was thinking the base of the tail wasn't like where her tail's connected to her body, but like the tip of her tail. And like, how lazy are you that you can't scratch the tip of your tail? Like, just flick it over. But yeah, it's like by her where her tail is connected to her body is where the base of her tail is, and that's what she's talking about, which makes sense.
Yes.
He's like with an inward shudder, Fireball crouched down and set to work of like cracking plump fleas with his teeth. Ugh. Gosh, that's gross. And then as they're doing that, there's some kits who are, playing around. And at first I assumed because they're like one's a small tabby and one's a gray and white kit. Not normally described with white, but I was like, okay, Bracken Kit and Cinder Kit. Makes sense. It's the two of them playing. That's really cute. Especially because, the gray one is pretending to be Broken Star, and in the next book, Cinderpaw is really, like, fascinated by ShadowClan and the Thunderbath and all that. But then later on, they say that the gray kit is a Tom. So it's not Cinder Kit. I'm assuming it's still Bracken Kit, but not Cinder Kit. Also, there's not a gray and white apprentice. There's a black and white apprentice being Swiftpaw coming up soon, but not a gray and white one.
Maybe it was an oversight
Or the kid died. I'm
or
I'm
that.
sure it is an oversight, but it's that or the kit. Because they also talk about how some kids get green cough in the next book. This might be one of those kids,
Hmm.
which is
We
sad.
can look it up later.
Yep. Um, why do you think when the kids bump into Yellowfang, she is so mad? They're playing, she's watching them. One of the kids like, "Feel my teeth, Broken Star," and they're just play fighting. And then one of them gets pushed a little bit too far and bumps into Yellowfang, and she is on her feet,
And
spitting violently. "Stay away from me, you scrap of fur," she hissed. Like, she is aggressive about this. Why do you think she's
so
so mad?
obviously like spoilery type stuff ahead because now we're gonna delve further into other chapters and stuff. But um I think Yellowfang, based on her what I know of her POV and from this series specifically, I think she's genuinely afraid that she's like some sort of a jinx, like a walking jinx for kits. And like just being around them, nonetheless touching them, like basically like is like a death sentence for the cat, like the kid. Like I
So
think she like believes that. And like, like she lost what, two of her kids?
yeah, both of her
And
daughters
then
died.
and then her son is a tyrant at best.
He's a kit killer. So I wasn't
Uh-huh.
sure. That was one of my thoughts. The other was, is she actually mad that they're pretending to be Broken Star, her son, kind of thing, and that's offending her?
Maybe?
It's like, I mean, I don't know if you're Hitler's mom and like your kid like years later after some kid sitting there like pretending to be him, like are you going to be mad at that kid? Yeah, so I was like I can't tell if she's genuinely like, get away from me because she's worried she doesn't do well with kids, which is what she says in a little bit, or if she's mad that the kids are
It,
pretending to be Broken Star, who is her
it could
son
be a
and she does still
combination.
love him. Yeah.
And actually, like looking at it from that perspective, what the tabby is supposed to be the quote unquote hero and is the one that ends up basically bumping into her. Uh,
Yeah.
and he was the one that was pretending to attack Broken Star, Broken Star in air quotes, her son. So maybe it's a combination.
Probably, because yeah, she does later on. When we get like next page, she does seem to legitimately think she's a jinx for kids, which I'm thinking is more so her thinking. Because I mean, a lot of kids die around her, but it's all because of her son, which she blames herself for. So it's a whole bunch of yeah. They
Yeah,
do have the thing where he's like, I think the kids are finding it hard being confined at camp. They're getting restless. Kids are never allowed out of camp, so it has nothing to do with them being confined to camp. They're not allowed out.
true.
Probably wasn't really a rule back then. Like maybe they could explore a little bit outside, but yeah, like not they're not
Or
allowed out of camp.
yeah, or like if they were like with mom or something like that, just like going to like the entrance or whatever. But maybe it was meant as like the dead, like he just had a, mouse brain moment, and he actually meant they have been confined to the den because of the fox.
Yeah, like that would have made sense if they're like confined to the nursery, but I think Blue Star literally says kids are confined to like can't leave camp until until they're 6 moons or something like that. Like yeah, that's the law. They're following the rules.
Yeah. That's why I said like maybe he just had a mouse, like it was just, it was a moment of, lapse judgment. He said camp, but what he really meant was the den.
Maybe.
Mhm.
And yeah, Firepaw's like, "Don't you like kids? Do you have any of your own?" And she explains that, medicine cats can't have kids, but he's like, "Well, rightfully you were a warrior beforehand," which I did check. I checked again. She was a medicine cat when she had her kids. So that's not the case. But she's like, I have no kids. Yellowfang spat, snatching her way. I can't talk today. Snatching her tail away from him and sat up. Anyway, her voice suddenly lowered and she sounded almost wistful. Accidents seem to happen to kids when I'm around them, so that's why I think it's a combination. She is worried about them, but she's also because like in the next book, I think it's the next one when Green Cott's going to the camp and she's like very gentle and caring with the kids.
Yeah.
It's just like the first hint that she had kids, pretty much.
Remind Who are the two kids that she was accused of killing? Were those her
Her
like a
siblings.
siblings kids? Yeah.
They're her siblings.
They are her siblings.
Yeah. It's Mint Kit and Marigold Kit.
I just feel like that would
Because
like
they're the ones who
j-
just recently died, and she was exiled for their death.
yeah. But like and then to be like related and stuff like that would just like shake me. Like
Yeah.
I can see why she's kind of
So I think they
grouchy
say that
old.
like Broken Star, like brought their bodies to her, and they were just so horribly wounded that they were dead by the time she could even do anything.
Yeah, he basically brought them in dead and then blamed her because it looked like they had like she like says something about it being like they were like obviously mauled or like
Yeah.
training was taken too far or whatever with like bite marks and scratch marks and stuff.
Yep. Very sad. When we get to Yellowfang's secret, something like that. There's so many of them. That's gonna be a very hard one to read. But so
Yeah.
Firepaw's trying to change the subject, and he's like, there's a couple of ticks I couldn't get out. Again, this is at the base of her tail. And she's like, I should hope you didn't even try, you idiot. I don't want any tick heads embedded in my rear, thank you very much. Like, oh my god. Like, that sounds so horrible. For anyone who had a tick, just imagine it having to be removed from there. Oh. Um, then she's like, go get some mouse bile, which always baffles me because they eat mice. Like, I mean, in the next chapter, I think it is, if it's not in this chapter, um, they might eat mice whole. So, like, I guess they're eating the bile. Like, I'm not really totally sure why some of these how they're collecting mouse bile. I know it's from their gallbladder, but like, I don't know. It's just a
uh
weird thing that they never really explain.
maybe maybe it has to be like pretty fresh.
Yeah, like even then, what's wrong with squirrel bile or rabbit bile? Why is it specifically
Mice are
mouse?
just more abundant because the two-leg place is closer.
But like even Wind Clan, who mostly hunt rabbits, use mouse bile, not rabbit bile.
Prairie mice.
Fish bile. That one just sounds gross.
Do fish actually like
Do
that?
fish have
I feel like is
gallbladders?
not a dumb question. Do fish? Is there such a thing as fish bile?
You would think so. I mean, they eat food. It's got to digest.
Yes, fish do produce bile, which is stored in the gallbladder and released into the intestines to aid digestion, just like mammals.
Yes, so fish bile is what Rubber Clan uses. Got it.
So I guess basically vertebrates have livers that produce bile, and that
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Anyways, more about anatomy that I never wanted to know in my entire life.
Bile. Beautiful.
Uh, just yeah, exactly what I wanted to think of.
But then we have, this is a big one, our second conversation with Spotted Leaf, where he's like, hey, can I have some mouse bile? And she's like, sure. And gives it to him. Romance.
It's
Beautiful.
glorious.
She breathes when she passes it to him and he sniffs her. And
It's
that's it.
just
That's their love story. Yeah, she's like, then rinse it off kind of thing, which is how we get to the after he gets the ticks off, that he goes. Sad thing is, there's actually a lot left, and I have like
oh,
no notes about it. But he goes and jumps into the river to go rinse off his paws. But before he joins them in the river, do you have any other notes?
nope.
Okay. So then, just kind of as a summary, because I really have nothing about this, Ravenpaw and Greypaw are out there hunting. So because he was like, well, I may as well hunt with you. So they're out hunting and they get a ton of prey. Like they say it takes them, I think, like 4 trips to bring it all back. So, everyone's like
Hmm.
really proud of them and they're all bringing in their prey and everything. Tiger Claw's like, hey, I hope you're actually still taking care of Yellowfang. And not totally sure why this is even in here, but Greypaw's like, oh no, don't worry, I'll go do it for you. And he brings her some mice, But Tiger Claw sees and is like, well, doesn't want Firepaw delegating his punishment. So Greypaw thinks fast and pretends that the mice are for him. And he just wants to eat them alone because if he shares with those two, there I won't even get a bite. So Tiger Claw makes him eat both of them right in front of him, and he's just like burping, ready to burst. Like you know that feeling when you ate way too much. Like poor Greypaw.
He took one for the team.
Yeah, like it's such a loyal friend. And then yeah, he Firepaw of course is like, "Hey, you overeat. Go see Spotted Leaf. Go see my wife." And yeah, that's about it. Did you have
Of
anything
course.
else from that whole section?
Nope, just the very end until another angry yell from Yellowfang sent him sprinting across the clearing. Just like, she gonna get it. Whatever
Yeah.
it is she wants. She
She's
will
just
make
in there.
herself obnoxiously.
Dear God. Just imagine like again, she's like an old lady, so she's just like your grandma, like it's like okay, when like grandma or your mom or something has had like surgery and is bedridden, and you just hear that bell, like just give me a second, hold on. But yeah.
I every time I think about it, I think of Howard Wolowitz from Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah, the mom.
And his mom just like scream, Howie!
Yeah, that's Yellow Fang. 100%.
Oh,
I did actually apparently skip it, but they do mention that Ravenpaw managed to squeeze a compliment out of Tiger Claw because he caught a crow. I'm almost wondering if because crows are big birds and kind of tend to be aggressive, if Tiger Claw let him catch it because again he was hoping it would kill him. Ravenpaw's small, like, and it's a big crow. They say like it's huge, so that thing probably could have carried him away. So that's probably why Tiger Claw was like, "Yeah, go for it." And then he begrudgingly had to compliment him after because he actually impressed him.
I mean, anything to just kind of show Tiger Clay, I'm worth my stuff.
Yeah, always. But yeah, so you had nothing else in there before we get to the herb breakdown, the first of them.
I mean, you missed Meow Wow Wow.
I missed a Morrow Wow Wow.
You
Oh,
missed a
yep, you're
Meow
right.
Wow Wow.
This is a pained Morrow Wow. Sorry, it's Morrow Wow. There's two. He was hunched into a low crouch, squinting with pain. I've eaten too much. He's that poor man. He is a
I
thick
just
boy.
love the waddles away or tottering away. Like I just see like a very fat gray cat like waddling
He's got a lot of
very
mouse
slowly.
bile in him. He's creating his own mouse bile.
Ooh, it just sounds terrible. That's why his stomach hurts.
Yeah,
You
probably.
shouldn't eat that.
But then we have, for our herb breakdown, we have our first three herbs, and they're all mentioned like together, which is crazy. So we have, excuse me, goldenrod, which is a tall plant with yellow flowers. It grows best in Wind territory. Um, and it can be used as a poultice for healing and cleaning wounds. So this one is to clean it, not to. There's a difference between like ones that clean wounds and ones that prevent infection. This is one to clean it. So you usually use goldenrod with marigold. They're like kind of go hand in hand.
Good to know.
Then we have poppy seeds, which are seeds from a poppy flower head. They grow everywhere, and they help with sleep, distress, and ease pain. They are not for queens, and they should not be taken in large doses over time. Which makes sense, because, like, during the imposter arc, um, Brambleclaw keeps asking Alderheart for more and more poppy seeds, and he's like, I can't give you more, it's not good for you. But yeah, they're like, why you can't take pain meds for extended amount of time, it's the same thing. And then we
Hmm.
have marigold, which is a flower with yellow and orange petals. They are found in sunny places near water. And the petal, leaves, and stems can be used as a poultice or a pulp, so it can be either or, to stop infection. And or okay, hold on. The poultice helps stop infection. The pulp, which is one you eat, or I'm sorry, not the pulp. The leaves that you eat whole are used for inflammation and stiff joints. So you put it in a wound, or you can eat it for like loosen up.
Sounds not not yummy.
Probably not. I don't think any of them are or except catnip is yummy. But yeah, that's really all
I
I
don't
have for chapter 9. It's again kind of a slow chapter, but they had plans.
mean, it was a towning episode, so there's a lot of banter back and forth, which I appreciate because it's character development.
Yeah. We get to see the greatness of Greypaw. We get to hear Yellowfin called a spiteful old bone bag, which I'm gonna change your name to in my phone.
Oh, well, that's fine. Sounds about right.
You're welcome. But any final notes?
No, I don't think so. I think next chapter is a lot less interesting than this one, so that says something.
Yeah, so for those of you who actually watch this long, we'll let you know. We're trying to do two recordings a night now. When we do our on Wednesdays or our recording night, we're trying to do two. So that way we can have more like double the episodes coming out. So I believe what did we agree on? Sunday and Wednesday were gonna be the two release dates?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, so every Sunday and Wednesday are gonna be when the episodes are coming out. But yeah, so when you see next episode when she still doesn't have her camera and I'm still in the same room, and in the same shirt, that's why. But
Yep.
yeah, I think that's about it. It's gonna be a short episode probably for the next one, guys. It's not much, but we'll do our best.
We shall do more than our best. We shall do excellent, spectacular, stupendous, amazing.
Yeah, and you guys, next episode will see I'll show you my pictures, so be excited for that.
I'm demanding it, so
Oh, it's gonna happen. Alrighty, well, have a good night, guys. Thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in a few days or in a few minutes.
poodles, poodles.